So it's 2009, Mr. Steve Frellick, CEO of Yonder. What happened?
Do we really need to go there?
I mean, everybody has a beginning.
That's true. There always has to be a beginning, and oftentimes in any movie or hero story, it starts with a fall off the cliff, and that was certainly 2009 for us. But like any good story, it has an extremely happy ending, and it comes full circle with me getting the opportunity to sit down with the two of you on a podcast called Gutsy Moves, implying that perhaps I made some gutsy moves at one point in my life.
And everybody loves a comeback story. Everybody loves the down in the gutter, no hope. What do we do? Come back.
And I'll tell you, when the crash happened for us, it was like Thelma and Louise driving literally off the cliff. And we felt like we were going to splat and it was over. A little bit of overplaying what was going to happen. We were not going to die. We had friends and family, thankfully, around us that were able to support us. But business-wise, it hit rock bottom. And you don't know where you're going to go. And for a couple of years there, it was frightening, scary.
So you were building.
We were in construction. Yes, sorry, I'm skipping over that. And we were building luxury custom homes throughout Western North Carolina. Life was great. We had multiple contracts for $1 to $4 million homes in and around Asheville, all the way out to Bear Lake Reserve out in the Silva area of Western North Carolina. And then when the crash happened here in North Carolina, because we saw it around the country.
Well, that was back in the day. You could fog a mirror, get a loan.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was amazing.
And here in Western North Carolina, we unfortunately thought we were bulletproof. Florida, Michigan, Ohio, yeah, those places are tanking, but Asheville will never tank. Right. We got this. This is money. We can just keep printing it, and we are good. And that's we were naive, we were arrogant, and that all came to roost very quickly. But again, in the end, we don't have Yonder if we don't lose everything in regard to the business sense.
Yeah, I love that. When you think that something so terrible at the time ends up becoming this caveat to say, had this thing not happen, we wouldn't be here. And actually, whatever that thing is was the blessing in disguise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the market's crashing, you're losing properties, things are going downhill real fast, and income is gone. How do you make a living? People aren't buying, building. What do you do?
We were fortunate that in 2007, we bought a building with a partner and got into vacation rentals by owners, STRs, short-term rentals. We didn't know anything about it. It was sort of a risk, but it was a good risk. We got a downtown property for a song, fully demolished it, renovated it to historic standards, and offered it as a vacation rental. It blew up. It killed it. So fast forward, end of 2009, we're sitting with our bank, thankfully was a local bank, and we're writing deeds in lieu of foreclosure for 3 properties.
Wow.
Donna's and my property, my brother Brian and his wife Melissa's property, and a spec house that we owned. We were going to hand them over. And the bank, small regional bank, says, whoa, we have so many properties. This is insane.
They don't want to be brokers.
No, they don't want to be brokers. So they're looking at the lofts at 16 Church Street and literally say to me, we know we can't touch that. That's in an LLC. But could you convert these homes to vacation rentals? And if we give you a year, could you catch up and then take those from coming onto our books? I had no idea, but what do you think my answer was?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, let's do this.
Like
of course we
a
can.
loan modification before that was a thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what started Yonder. We started with those properties. I then had friends and other folks that were affected that are like, can you take our house and make it a vacation rental? So it started to grow, and very long story short, here we are today with 230 plus properties in Western North Carolina, 30 properties in Arizona, and looking at other expansions. So yes, life is good, and it takes crazy turns sometimes.
Yeah, that's a hell of a story. So we've conversed about expansion, talking with Melissa and hearing a little bit about some of the backstory, and to obviously know that story and its inspiration to allow us to get to where we are today with conversations of what is Yonder's calling next. You've come from rags to riches, and there's a saying, I don't exactly know the saying, but it's something along the lines of any successful person that you admire has survived a season you haven't seen. And that sounds to me a little bit about, the beginnings of Yonder and where you've brought it as a family and as the leader of Yonder today. So what's next?
Terrific question. But if I may rewind just a little bit more, because I think it's important to the expansion question. When we started Yonder, we weren't inventing a new business. Vacation rentals and tourism have been around Asheville since pre-George Vanderbilt and the Biltmore. He built the Biltmore to bring his friends and others to this area that was so amazing. So we didn't come up with a novel idea. But what we did, and we were very intentional about, thankfully to Mark Baston, our current CMO, who at the time wasn't with Yonder, had his own marketing company, but we sat down very intensively and said, what's going to make Yonder unique and what's going to make it special? And we came to the realization that let's make it about the people, about guest experience, and luxury. Not necessarily that it's a $5 million home, but what's a luxury vacation for a family of 4? What defines that? So we did that. And because of our amazing team, and I take a little bit of credit, but our amazing team, we've delivered on that for years. So going to conferences around the country, we started to get people we respected and cared about saying, when's Yonder going to expand? When are you going to go further? And so we tried to do that once on the coast of North Carolina, stumbled, couldn't make it work, and failed. That's okay. We learned from that, and I think you talked to Melissa about that as well, Yonder's chief operating officer, and she shared that story in a different time with Gutsy Moves. But we learned from that, and we decided, okay, let's dedicate to how do we make that happen. There always has to be a catalyst. What was the catalyst to that? Well, the two of you know the answer to that. It's Brandon and Kate.
Yeah.
It's the people who invented Gutsy Moves as a podcast, but have done some pretty damn gutsy moves in their time together. Yeah. And so you helped to push us when we met and formed this incredible relationship that we've started. And we took the steps to say, okay, 4 and 24, 4 new markets in 24 months. It's been 24 months. We're in 2 markets, almost into a third. That's okay. The 4 and 24 was a catchphrase. It was a goal. The fact that we didn't get there doesn't mean we failed. We're thrilled with where we're at with Arizona and looking at Florida and then what's next. And we want to be very organic and true to who we are and how we expand. But it's happening, and it's exciting.
I think if you create a goal and you achieve it, it probably was not a lofty enough goal. If it's too easily achievable, that needed to be more. I've worked with coaches over the course of my career in real estate, and we set sales goals for each year, which obviously whittled to income goals. And every time working directly with a coach, when I set the goal for the year, he'll say, okay, great, that's what, now double it. Every single time.
Yeah.
And because as humans we want to accomplish what we set. So we have this thing where we typically just kind of, we make it a good goal, but we know we're going to achieve it, which means it really wasn't high enough. And it takes a catalyst like a partner or someone else to come in and say, I think let's up that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the things we do internally at Yonder is we set goals and we set initiatives. Initiatives are the more down-to-earth, realistic. Okay, we know we can get to that in 3 months, and that's important. Or we're going to do that in this next 3 quarters, and again, it's important. But the goals, if you're not setting them just out of reach, again, I don't think you're reaching far enough. I play baseball competitively. Love it. And I do the same thing. I want to bat 1,000, and I want the Yonder Travelers, we named the team after the company, I want the Travelers to win every championship tournament we enter into. That's not going to happen, but we win a hell of a lot of tournaments, and I bat well over 500, and those are massive successes. But again, if we don't make that goal, bat 1,000 and win every tournament, well, then what are you playing for? Same thing in business.
Yeah.
The thing that I took away from dinner the other night, probably most interesting to me, was that Brian is the better baseball player, though.
You had to go there. This is supposed to be a non-confrontational day.
Yeah, well,
Started out feisty. You're just going to keep it rolling.
That's all right. At some point, we'll get with the editors and we'll cut that because I do take offense to that.
He will not.
That's
ever
not
have
fair.
that. He's an instigator.
well, agitator, instigator, it keeps you on your toes, as you say. So
no, and we joke about that, and we have developed a terrific relationship over the 2 years we've known each other. You launching Quinvestors and the two of you bringing Yonder into that intensively is a great example of being instigators and agitators.
yeah,
You don't find what's next. You don't venture beyond your vision or your current sight of horizon without doubling down and going beyond that. And I think Quinvestors is something that just takes that to the next level. Yonder has the vacation rental side of things down pretty well. We're not perfect. We'll never be perfect. You can always learn. You can always get better. I'm not implying there's any level of perfection, but we're damn good at what we do. But bringing this financial investment, private equity piece into what we're doing is a profound shift. When we started Yonder, and I talked about those discussions, no one else was doing customer service or guest experience like Yonder. So we crushed it. We absolutely crushed it. Well, the industry locally, regionally, nationally has been playing catch up. And so you have to continually, what's next? I'm not aware of any other vacation rental property management company that has this financial investment arm available to people to join this special opportunity that we've had. And with Quinvestors, like you say, we buy properties and share the profits with our investors. Pretty simple and straightforward.
it is simple and straightforward. And when you think about it, we've talked often about, take South Florida for an example and the hurricanes. And unfortunately that brought its way right here into the mountains of Asheville. This was probably 18 months ago when we were having a conversation. Kate and I were actually driving south to North Carolina or South Carolina to visit Granny and Pat. And the conversation turned to people are never going to stop going to the beach. So it doesn't really matter, what comes of it at a snapshot in time. It's the longer play, and it goes back to the experience that guests are having. It goes back to your wherewithal of what you could actually do to bring Yonder up from, your bootstraps, if you will, and continue to propel forward what's next. And talking about what's next is pretty great. Curiosity, it's a wonderful thing. It continues your imagination and the vision. I'm a visionary too, and we dream big. So to have the people that ride with that as wingmen and women, if you will, it's a pretty great feeling to have a collaborative partner lockstep with you that is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're working as a close-knit unit, as a team, the Yonder team, to then have all of this extra stuff that's added on with how you're going to buy the properties, how you're going to fund the properties, what are you going to do to them when they have funded, and how you're going to launch them. And working all of those things together, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's fun.
It is fun. Yeah. Launching a property is, it's actually a whole nother business that we've had some discussions about with. Maybe that's another leg or an arm of one of the things that we're doing is launching a property. People don't know how to do that.
Successfully, anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah.
A distinctive approach to passive income with luxury vacation rentals.
For more information, check out our website, quinvestors.com. So I love when you said that you and Yonder really tried to focus on the guest and their experience and luxury. And luxury doesn't always mean a $5 million or $15 million house for that matter. It's really what is luxury to the person. And anytime you're out of your own home and environment, something is luxurious that we might even take for granted. For me, when we travel to some of our vacation properties, to me, luxury is having a television in the bedroom. And when we are at our own vacation homes, I feel like this is a really special thing. I get to lay in bed and watch television because I don't have that at home. To me, that's luxury. Yeah.
No,
what's luxury to you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think the fact that we already talked about Clean City. I enjoy the fact that while we organize the homes before we leave, we don't clean them. We also don't live in them hard, but it's pretty nice to know that when we walk in and we get what we see, which is pretty damn awesome, and to know that someone else is going to get at least that after we stay, it's a pretty cool feeling to just be able to get up and go and know that your house is going to be better than you left it.
You walk in, it's clean, it smells fresh. Yeah, that's luxury. We don't
Clean City.
throw me under the bus. We don't get that at home.
Absolutely.
That's because you're in the bedroom watching TV and not cleaning.
No, and you both hit on two of the pieces, and there are multiple pieces to the puzzle that define luxury for us. Clean City is absolutely something we said from day one. We have to have these homes as pristine and literally clean as we possibly can, because that's important. And it was a segment of the market that was missing. That was a home run right out of the gate and kept repeating itself, Babe Ruth-esque as far as how many home runs. Yeah. But the TVs in the bedrooms. We annually will have strategic planning sessions with our executive team, and we look at luxury and want to redefine all the time, what is luxury? What are we saying to the public? But it's those amenities. What do you not have at home that you can come stay with Yonder and have? Is the home super clean? Yes. And then other things like concierge. Yeah, absolutely. What are we doing? How are we creating the guest experience? Because that's where travel's going. And that's important to everybody, is that experience and redefining luxury, because it's a pretty broad term and it can mean a lot of things.
It's very subjective. You're right. It can mean a lot of things. What is intriguing to me that is a big miss in the vacation rental space, short-term rental space, is knowing how guests are going to interpret their property that they're staying in, and the hosting and the guest experience that goes into that, and how the average person just underestimates what goes into hosting and providing that guest experience. It's a huge void. And Yonder does an amazing job of filling that void with being intentional about what they're going to do, the guest experience, all the ways that you create this hot cognition and the emotion around people coming on vacation. And you're either going to do that and do it well, or you're going to leave guests with an experience that doesn't resonate in the way that you want it to. And having as many 5-star reviews, north of 13,000 that Yonder has, with the onboarding of new properties and the trail off of properties that have been in the portfolio over these, what is that now, 18 years or so, it's pretty amazing.
As so many things in life bubble up and show their true colors, luxury and the guest experience is extremely detailed. We took some time at one of our strategic planning sessions, and the team determined that there are over 1,800 individual touch points to launching a successful vacation rental.
Wow.
We've talked about this with Quinvestors. How do we get properties in front of these guests that blow them away and are just well above the market as far as quality, amenities, and all of that? It's a part of those 1,800 touch points. And people don't understand that. I'm the first to tell anybody that asks, vacation rental by owner, Brandon and Kate managing your own home as a vacation rental, no one can do better than you if you have the time and the resources to do it. You can't. If you can put and make that your personal baby, no one can do it better than that. But that takes almost a full-time job. People don't have that. So then you look at property management. And so that's where Yonder comes in, and we take the years of experience we have and all of this knowledge and then partner with people like Clean City to be our exclusive cleaners because they get the level we want. And then bring in Quinvestors and say, we want to offer something different to folks if they can't afford to have their own $600,000, $2.2 million, whatever the price point vacation rental. Well, you can now invest and be a shareholder for a fraction of that. It's just an evolution of luxury property management, and it's what we do. And if I could, to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but it relates to that, we're here in Western North Carolina. Yes, we're in Arizona, and that's awesome. We're looking at Florida and beyond, but this is our roots. And Hurricane Helene hit this area pretty hard. Now, 95% of Western North Carolina is totally fine because we're in the mountains, but there are areas that were devastated. Yonder was devastated. We took, don't need to get into the numbers, but millions of dollars in losses because of tourism stopping, another cliff.
At peak season.
At peak season.
Yeah, a full calendar.
Exactly.
In the month of October, gone.
Yes, gone. November,
Times
gone.
200 and some
Yes.
plus properties.
So that was potentially, that could have killed us. It did kill some companies, and I understand why. But we did some things smartly in the past, and we were able to get through. We got an SBA loan to help us as well. So Yonder, difficult times. Don't have $100,000 to stroke a check to help with recovery in the area, but we're going to launch what we're calling Yonder Cares. I know that's not necessarily an original title, but I think it's apt, Yonder Cares. And so our target is a 5-year program or beyond to help with all of these local charities and efforts over that time period. And how do we rebuild? How do you help the people that are here? My wife and I have lived here for 27 years. We feel like natives, even though we're not. I still fight because I'm a Yankee. They won't give me a, Appalachian green card, but I'm like, come on, I'm in.
If you worked on the accent a little, maybe they would accept you.
There you go. We do have a native son. Our son Reed was born here in Asheville, so we've got that going for us. So hopefully they don't ever take that away. But in all seriousness, we're here. We're committed. We want to help these people. We can't right now. We can volunteer, and our team has done tons of that. Amazing efforts. But we want to financially help. Well, we can do that over time. As our business picks up, we can donate. We can get guests to donate a portion of their stay, to add and round up like you do at Target sometimes with your, invoice. We can do those things, and so we're going to. And in my mind, that just resonates the whole attitude of what we get together. I know that, the creative ones, Corbett Consulting, Quinvestors, you guys get that.
We do. Together,
You totally get that.
Together we can do more. Always.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Yonder cares.
Yeah. So that's just another piece of what I think resonates the Yonder ethos or the culture or who our team is, what we're about. And so we're pretty excited about that.
It's correlated directly actually with what Mark talked about with empathy and, being emotionally intelligent and seeking to understand and putting yourself in that other person's position to really kind of correlate in your own mind. What are they going through? Be it a person, be it, a company and a community. So I really think that the Yonder Cares moment is something that's come from just the organic growth of Yonder as a whole, not just as a company, but in the way that y'all think about the guests, you think about the community, you think about your team, you think about the owners. All of those are things that you could easily forget are not very correlated, but they extremely are.
Absolutely.